much can a real estate investor make in a year? That is a great question, and it's all over the board. I can tell you in my 24 years now, I've never made less than six figures, nor have I made more than seven figures flipping single family houses. Now, when you get into other types of real estate investments, commercial and things like that, the number can be eight figures and higher. But as a single family home flipper or somebody who specializes in that type of transactions, it's generally a very well-paying job. And there's some downsides and like everything else. But if you go to motleyfool.com and you look at, they have a state-by-state analysis of how much a real estate investor makes. 49 out of the 50 states averaged $121,000 approximately. Only one state in the United States, state of North Carolina, came in less than $100,000. So generally $120,000 is an average across the board for most real estate investors. Most of the ones that I'm familiar with and the guys I've been in the business a long time with are significantly higher than that. When you go over to salary.com, they look at the higher end investors, people who've been in the business a long period of time, and the average there, the average salary is, or the average income is about $1,170,000. $1,170,000. So, those are pretty normal numbers. It's going to be someplace between those numbers depending on your experience level, the types of transactions you do, the number of transactions, and that type of thing. But there are other questions that are involved. Like, for example, how much money do you need as a real estate investor to make that kind of income? There are 15 ways to buy and 15 ways to sell. And only a couple of them involve all cash transactions. The rest of them are seller finance type transactions. And the all cash stuff, which is basically buying a house for cash, flipping it for cash, or doing the rehab for cash, and then selling it for cash, is where the bigger dollars are made. Smaller dollars, but more volume, are made in the seller finance transactions. And you may make 10, 20, 30,000 per deal on those, but they are easier and they're more plentiful and easier to get to, and especially in downward recessionary times, seller finance type transactions do better, and there is more opportunity to make more money in those than there may be in flipping homes. So how much work does it take to make 6 to 7 figures as a real estate investor? Once again, it depends on what you do. I've got a buddy who only does deals that he makes 7 figures, in other words, $1 million or more on. He will only do that. He doesn't do any, $600,000 net profit flips or $120,000 net profit flips. He only does $1 million deals. He does 1 or 2 a year, and that's it. That's all he wants to do. So, and he doesn't do any of the work himself. But he spends his time researching and finding the proper place, and he deals in a specialty market within the flipping realm, and that's what he focuses on, and that's his business model. That's all he wants to make. Other people, are never sure. I mean, they've gone for years and they don't really know what they want, and they'll tend to have low years, high years. I've tried everything. I've done all 15 ways to buy and sell primarily. And I can tell you it's, once again, if you're doing the flipping portion of the business and you do it well, and you do it over a long period of time, it can be very profitable as long as you've got a good system and you manage your risk. Risk is something that's very important as well. Some risks can be minimized or eliminated, and others, flipping in particular, have almost unknown risks, because when you open up a house to do a rehab, you just never know if you're going to find Jimmy Hoffa's body in the wall, or a whole rattlesnake pit in there, or whatever. You just don't know, and that could cost you and wipe out your budget. Something you'd plan to make $80,000 on, you could make 8, or you could write a check for 10 or 20. And by the way, anytime any real estate investor tells you they've made money on every transaction that they've ever done, I would just yell, liar, liar, pants on fire, because that's not true. I've lost money on plenty of deals. Went in with my eyes wide open, decided I would take a risk, and caught one in the neck as a result. Other times it was just pure stupidity on my part. Or not paying attention. I was doing something else over here, and I should have been watching over here. And, the next thing you know, the fit hits the shan and someone has to stay after school for detention, and it's usually me. So having a system and staying with your system, keeping your eyes on the ball, That's the best way to make consistent money. So, when I get asked all the time, will I make money in every transaction? Heck no, you won't. But you can lose less, if that is such a term. You can lose less on more deals by, once again, systematizing, keeping your eye on the ball. Are there any guarantees in this business? Can I be assured of making money? Is there any guarantees? Not that I've ever run across. And if you guys find one, please let me know, because I would love to be able to guarantee that I make money on every deal. Now, I've gone periods of time, years, 2 years, 3 years without losing money, and then I go ahead and break my streak. It's like those things you see in factories, 412 days without an accident. We need to have that on our office door, because that happens to us as well. And then the final thing that I get asked with regard to making money is, can I do this at a distance or remotely or virtually? As a result of COVID the last couple of years, we've had a lot of people say, can I do business? I'm sitting here in California. Can I do business in New Hampshire or Nebraska or East Overshoe, Iowa, or wherever? Absolutely. You can do that. And you can actually do virtual flipping and any type of seller transaction on a remote basis. And once again, you have to have systems. You have to know what to do. We've got tried and true methods that we've done. And literally, we do all of our flipping from a distance of a couple thousand miles away. And it works out fine. But it takes a long time to develop those kinds of systems. And you have to have the right people in the right places at the right time. You have to have the right amount of money and experience. You've got to have either a mentor who's been there, done that, and has gotten the trail marks up and down their back and can keep you from getting run over by the next train, or you just go out and do that process yourself. I would not recommend the latter. I've done it that way. It took me probably 22 years out of 24 to get decent at this stuff. And after a while, you will have made all the mistakes enough times you get tired of seeing them, and you'll finally figure out how to do it. But your best bet, in my opinion, get yourself a good mentor, coach, somebody who's been down that track and blazed that thing before. Remember, the guy at the head of the cavalry is the guy who's going to get most of the arrows. You don't want to be that guy. Be number 2 if you can. So follow somebody who's established, who knows what they're doing, and can help you get there. It's a great way to make money. Either way you want to do it, a lot of money or a little money, but good money, and it's a lifetime career. Okay, thank you for watching. If you get a minute, I would love to hear your comments about what you think of these videos. Feel free also to put in any topics down here in the comment section, things that you'd like to hear me discuss. Any questions you want, go ahead and put in here. We'll make sure we get a video on it when we get time. And as always, please like and subscribe and hit that ring the bell button as well to get notified every time there is a new video. Thanks a lot, everybody.